Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Last week, of course, we saw Season 2 drop for Modern Warfare 3 and Warzone, and per usual, with it being a major title update and a major seasonal update, it added into the game files a whole lot more than just the Season 2 related content. Yeah, sure, we got our new maps for multiplayer, we got some new changes for Warzone, the addition of ranked and whatnot, but also the game files got updated with plenty of references for future updates, including one very significant one: Rebirth Island. Now, of course, we've known since Call of Duty Next last year, prior to Modern Warfare 3, that this year we'd see the return of Fortune's Keep and Rebirth Island, and obviously, we just saw the return of Fortune's Keep with the Season 2 update a few days back, and for the most part, I'm enjoying that in-game now. It's fun to sort of revisit that, see all the new map updates and whatnot, have some fast-paced Resurgence gameplay to mix up Vondel and Ashika a little bit. But Rebirth has been the map since it was removed that everyone's been saying, when is Rebirth back? Is Rebirth coming back? Is this game going to reintroduce it? How long until Rebirth is back? It's been by far up there with Verdansk, the most asked and most highly requested, map to return. And we know it's coming back, but the question now has been, when exactly? Is it going to be closer to Gulf War this fall? Is it going to be, pretty soon? Well, it seems we've got our answer courtesy of those game files that were updated with Season 2, because a lot of data miners, a lot of leakers have discovered some new strings, some new files referencing Rebirth, and it's happening a whole lot sooner than you might think. So Charlie Intel posted this initially saying, Rebirth Island could return to Warzone in, drumroll, Season 3. Not what I was expecting whatsoever. Data miners have found numerous references to Season 3 or S3_Rebirth in the game files. All of these updated previously with the Season 2 update. Now, there were Rebirth references before under different code names and whatnot. None of them indicated that Season 3 would be the launch date for that. But now you've got a bunch of different references, different strings, all pointing towards Rebirth happening in Season 3. There are new infill references being mentioned with the Season 3 header. The Specialist update that, of course, Raven teased a little bit ago, showing off the Specialist bonus perk package returning in the future, also has references to Season 3. There are specific Rebirth Easter eggs that are referenced with headers with Season 3. So all signs currently point towards Rebirth Island returning with Season 3 of Warzone here, which should be taking place at some point in basically early April, most likely. Like that first week of April, according to the Battle Pass countdown timer, is when Season 3 is supposed to be going live. Now, of course, that's still a ways out, so dates could change, things could get pushed back a little bit, and obviously Season 3 is going to encompass several months. There's nothing guaranteeing that Rebirth would be happening on day one, in that first week of April. It could be the Reloaded update, which is probably going to be the first or second week of May or something like that. So there's no exact time and date listed for it other than Season 3, but that's still much, much earlier than what we originally expected. A lot of us, myself included, thought, okay, Fortune's Keep will drop first, as they confirmed. We'll probably have a good, 2 seasons in between Fortune's Keep and Rebirth dropping, as not to overshadow one another or take away from one another, right? Well, maybe that's just not the case here. I also thought that, maybe they're going to tie in Rebirth more to Black Ops Gulf War, and they'll leave that for like Season 5, because then they can tether a Cold War map in Rebirth right into Gulf War, and they'll have all the hype from that going into the new year with the new COD this fall. But Season 3 does appear to be that main date, that main time frame in which Rebirth will be returning, which in and of itself is going to be huge. But there's a little bit more to Rebirth as an update itself that we probably should focus on before we start to build all sorts of different expectations, right? And as we move on into this portion of the conversation, quick reminder, I'm your one-stop shop for Call of Duty news, intel, updates, everything going on is covered right here. So in the future, as we start to see official teasers and announcements and reveals for Rebirth and other major updates, this is the place you'll find out about them first. So if you want to stay up to date, be sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on those post notifications. And if you enjoyed this video, if you're excited for the return of Rebirth, do me a favor, drop a like on it. It would be really appreciated. Anyway, now that we have a much better time frame as to when we could see the return of Rebirth, obviously now the hype is going to take itself to another level. As I alluded to at the start of the video, Rebirth has been one of the most requested things ever since it was removed back with the launch of Warzone 2. Obviously, we didn't have that as an available option. It's been a fan favorite map since it was introduced. People loved it as Alcatraz back in Blackout, and obviously Rebirth Island as an experience was one of the largest elements of Warzone 1 back in the day. That said, we've seen this now a couple of times where Call of Duty sort of remasters and remakes something, they bring it back, but it's not exactly what it once was. The multiplayer maps, for instance, that we've seen throughout the years, all the remasters and remakes, are always usually different to a certain extent. And most recently with Fortune's Keep, obviously, while it was the latest resurgence map that we had back in Warzone 1, even though it was only around for a couple of seasons back then and then removed, its reintroduction here is already not a one-to-one, clearly. It's more of an updated Fortune's Keep than it is a remastered or remade Fortune's Keep. We've got new POIs on the map. We're gonna have other new POIs like the research vessel added in over time. We see several different POI updates where certain buildings are different, entire areas are different, like with Ground Zero and whatnot. So it's not a one-to-one whatsoever. There's water elements to it now with swimming and everything. This is something I would expect alongside Rebirth's reintroduction as well. As much as we all loved the original Rebirth map and landing on top prison or at grandma's or down at the docks or wherever, I would expect fully that with the return of Rebirth here in season 3 or whenever it does end up coming to fruition, it's not going to be a one-to-one copy. Because we have all the new water elements and swimming mechanics in COD, I fully expect the waters surrounding Rebirth Island to come into play. You'll be able to actually go in and swim underneath it. There will be different parts maybe under the map that you can access via the water and whatnot. As I alluded to earlier with some of the other leaks that have come out regarding Rebirth, there are going to be various new Easter eggs apparently involved with the return of the map. So there's probably going to be new elements to the POIs, whether it is sort of, uplifts, I guess you could say, where they change around different mechanics so that it's smoother to navigate from building to building, or there's different angles available, or there's entirely new POIs of, deconstructed old ones and reconstructed new ones, whatever the case may be. We've sort of seen that in the past as well, changing construction to like a fully, updated building and places like that. I would not expect Rebirth of Warzone 1, one for one, every single POI is the same, every single angle is the same. I would not expect that to return in its full form here in MW3 Warzone. There will be uplifts, there will be updates, and I guess upgrades is a bit more subjective based on how much you enjoyed certain parts of OG Rebirth, but just to, temper expectations some, while yes, Rebirth is regarded as one of the best Warzone experiences to date, it's likely going to be changed in several different ways, shapes, and forms to fit the more modern era of COD with various new mechanics and abilities available within gameplay itself. But exciting news nonetheless. Rebirth has a much more solidified time frame now, and while it is still leaks, which as always you should take with a pinch of salt, nothing is officially confirmed until Call of Duty or Raven or Activision says something officially, it is pretty indicative of what's going to happen, most likely, considering it is game file leaks, and these are usually pretty accurate if they have several strings all referencing something that points in the same direction or all lines up like it does here, with everything indicating that season 3 time frame. So as we see any other official news come out regarding the return of Rebirth, or potentially even some more leaks, you guys already know I'll have you covered with all the need to know details right as they surface right here. So feel free to hit that subscribe button to always stay up to date. And if you enjoyed this video, do me a favor and drop a like on your way out. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.